Good afternoon, morning, my Liptions. This week we have something a little bit different because we're going to be looking at the new Intel Ultra series of processors. They've just launched on the Evetech store, so I'm going to give you a brief overview of the specific technologies that are now being put into this, which are considerable, including Intel Arc graphics now on the mobile platform, as well as a whole bunch of AI features to help you better speed up your workloads. I've seen some of these were launched even with the 11th gen, but now with the new official Ultra, kind of like the 15th generation or the completely new Intel Core series. Ultra is basically that. It's a completely new version of the Intel Core series, and with, like I say, a whole slew of upgrades. As you can see from the title over here, there are three things that they are focusing on for this generation: the AI experiences, the performance, and the battery life. And that's really what this boils down to, is as much performance as you can get in AI tasks and your everyday general sort of tasks, but with the lowest possible wattage. Because if you look, well, we're going to get to the models a little bit towards the end of this, but you'll see on the model list that it really is a focus of them is having that power and efficiency, which we just love for a mobile product, right? I mean, that's basically the long and the short of it. But yeah, they're looking at 70% gains on the existing AI features, and they've seriously expanded how many partners and stuff they're working with, just from a software perspective and from a hardware perspective. And then with the Arc GPUs, you're getting 2 times the performance of XE graphics, which I've personally tested. They actually are quite up to bat, and in general have a very good price versus performance in the market, and then a 25% reduction in power consumption. So Intel's were already good and getting some of the best battery lives you could hope to have. Now they're increasing that by as much as a quarter. So it was like 6 to 8 hours, you now jumping on 8 to 10, and it's starting to creep up on the back of the Mac and that power to halves that it used to have. And this is really how they're delimiting their products. You are going to have some that are obviously more gaming capable than others. AI effects, this is for video calling and stuff, is a huge thing, because it's very necessary depending on your working environment, that you can have audio cancelling and image enhancement and that sort of stuff, depending on your lighting, or if you're in a crowded space, that you could just have yourself on picture and cut out the background noise. That's obviously going to be flipping amazing to have. Enhanced video editing as well, for a lot of us that are working and doing 4K footage and stuff on the go. That is going to be really nice. I'm very as a video editing guy, I'm very enticed by that, honestly. And then multitasking, which is our day-to-day kind of lives. And then, as I say, here are all of the SKUs, and there's quite a lot of UL, ultra low voltage kind of variants. Basically for every single variant there's like an ultra low version of this. So manufacturers as well are going to have a really good time speccing processors and stuff for their specific niches. Now, just taking a little bit of a closer look at the AI powered stuff that is going, or what their focus is going to be on. They're basically telling you here the main kind of apps and stuff and program vendors and other software vendors that they are going to focus on working with, and it's the ones that we want to see, especially in a creative workload environment, especially between Adobe and stuff like Crisp. That's right up the alley, right? And Cyberlink and Zoom, of course, and Wondershare and all of the stuff in between. But I think specifically for Adobe creators and people that are working in those environments, it had specifically been a Mac niche, and now it's becoming more and more Windows. We just hope that Adobe themselves stop porting from Unix code and actually give us the x86 base. I love you forever if you do that. We appreciate you. And then there's a bunch of gaming guys that they're working with as well, obviously, to get XeSS, their enhanced visual, basically their DLSS, into these kinds of games, so that their mobile gaming processors are going to give you significantly better performance. They're shooting for that 1080p 60 FPS on the entry level, but I've seen even on, like with the Intel Arc that we did a review on, you can look at doing some 2K gaming, especially on DX12. It's all DX12 focus, so it's only for future upcoming sort of stuff. It's not really going to have any strength in ancestral programs. And that brings us conveniently to those Intel Arc based GPUs, where, like I say, this is really what they're kind of shooting for. And the A530M is a very mid-level kind of device. There is an A770. You can see they're getting a lot of the sort of multiplayer game stuff checked off. That's going to probably be their focus for the time being, which just makes a lot of sense. Now, looking at the model spread and split, it is going to be focused mostly on core counts. It's only these two that have the same core counts with a different core clock, but I mean it's A550M and A570M, so that's how they're delimiting the product over there. But in general, as you can see, they've done it very openly, honestly. There's no clever tricks or weird things that are happening in the background. And even on the A530, they've got a 4 gig and an 8 gig option. So it is going to limit you, obviously, based on what you want to play. But sometimes you just want this to be a work notebook, in which case you're not going to care about the 8 gig VRAM. But if you're doing 1080p, 60 FPS gaming, and you want to have high texture settings, then you're going to need that 8 gig variant over there. So in general, it looks like a very honest way to break down and separate the components. Now, these are obviously available at Evetech already. They have a number of units, mostly from MSI and a couple of Asus units as well, ranging from 29K with no dedicated graphics where you're using the Intel Arc, and it's more like a mobile workstation kind of setup, all the way through to, let's go Asus ROG Zephyrus G16. That thing is probably going to be somewhat drool worthy because the Zephyrus is already great, and then you're throwing in an Ultra 9 with a 4060 8 gig. And on my 4050 6 gig tests, we've already run Cyberpunk basically maxed out with low ray tracing at 70 FPS. So this is going to handle. It's going to do an incredibly good job. Even the onboard graphics on this will probably be able to run Cyberpunk at like 30 frames. So that's quite a lot of power, and then you get it with like a 240 Hz OLED display as well for 43,000 Rand. It's actually kind of mold like the spec and stuff that's coming out here. So yeah, it is available on the Evetech store. If you do need help with any of these, please do hit up sales at evetech.co.za on mail, and they will get back to you. And that, my friends, is your buyer's guide for this week. Intel Ultra now available at Evetech. Of course, first in line. You gotta love that with Uncle Evetech. They always get the technology out to you guys as fast as humanly possible. And yeah, for Adobe Suite and designers and people that are doing work on the go, and you need something premium that's not gonna fail you because your business is worth a lot more than a 30 or 40,000 Rand laptop, then this should be high on your list. If you have been in a Mac cycle and you want to get onto Windows and you haven't been able to just because of battery life and other kinds of constraints, then these are literally specifically angled in your general direction. Until next time, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, please hit us up with a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Ultra technology down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Until then, hope you guys stay safe, keep well, and I will see you on the flip side.